guys. Scott Slar here with Real Synch. Super excited to have one of my good friends and business colleagues, Ryan Young from the Young team, the #1 real estate team in Ohio. Am I nailing it?
Yeah, you nailed it. Large team.
Yeah.
We got groupings now. So number one large team. I think we have to throw a little asterisk in there.
Right. Thanks for being here, man. If you don't mind, obviously the idea of this is to talk a little bit about how we've worked together and how some of the things that we've done together has helped your business. So maybe first off, to start off, quick 10,000-foot view of you, your business, and what you guys are doing.
So as Scott said, Ryan Young with the Young team. It's our residential real estate team. I also have an agent-led iBuyer called Fello. So we're kind of, engulfed in several different spaces in the real estate industry, own a couple brokerages, kind of seeing it for more of a granular kind of micro level, but also at a macro level as well. Young team's about 35 team members. We'll sell about 650 homes this year. And Fello is operating and acquiring homes in Ohio. We've acquired about 250 homes in the past 2.5 years.
Nice. And before we get into how we work together, just out of curiosity, because I'm sure people are interested just hearing about Fello and the iBuyer that you're doing, what's the roadmap for that? How are you expanding? Is it going to expand into other states? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, so a lot of exciting announcements with Fello. We actually just announced yesterday we've secured $25 million in both debt and equity to help really expand our mission, which is to empower all agents with an iBuying solution. And so we have a roadmap laid out. We are definitely, we're going to be getting into markets where you see a little bit more iBuyer activity to, empower and give the agent a tool to compete essentially against iBuyers. But we have some incredible partners that have invested in us, people that are pretty deep in the real estate game and rooted in the prop tech industry that really believe in our mission.
Nice. That's awesome, man, because the reality is there's a lot of huge equity funds out there that are doing all the iBuyer, they're buying up all the homes, and now you're allowing the agents to compete with that, which is really cool.
100%. I wear both the agent hat. My whole entire family, as is in real estate. They're a part of the team. But I've also seen it more from the tech side in kind of that prop tech iBuying space. And I think that there's a huge opportunity for agents to still have a very strong footprint in the real estate industry, as long as they have the technology to provide their clients a great experience. And I think over the past couple of years, we've been starting to lose a little bit of distance compared to some of these larger tech companies and what the value proposition they're bringing to the consumer. And I think one of the things that's extremely important is the more we can empower and enable agents with the technology, the better position they are to provide their clients what they're actually looking for, which a lot of times is a streamlined, transparent, kind of convenient experience, but also still working with that trusted local agent, and I think my vision is all of that stuff coming together so the consumer ends up winning.
Yeah, absolutely. The more options you can have for the consumer, and 100%. You can bring all that to the table so they don't need to look elsewhere, and they can work with you because they trust you.
Yep.
That puts you back in the position of leverage and at an advantage to help more people. Yeah, absolutely. I love it, dude. So let's jump and talk a little bit about why you came to work with Real Synch. Tell me a little bit about the problem you were having and how this all started, if you don't mind.
So to tie the two and kind of my intro together to Real Synch. So I have one company that is very engineering heavy. It's all product and design. And I started to see what high growth scale looks like through technology with Fello. And then I had the Young team, which was I would say progressive real estate team in Northeast Ohio. But when you see what Fello was doing and you get a taste of what automation and big scale looks like through technology. All of a sudden it made me realize how far behind the young team was. The young team doesn't have the engineering budget and the product budget and data budget that Fello has. That's what Fello does all day long. So we needed some sort of solution that was somewhat customizable, but also cost efficient to a small kind of local real estate team, which was, how do we create automation? How do we use technology and leverage technology without absorbing a significant expense of bringing on engineers and stuff like that? And I think Real Synch was a part of that puzzle for us, a bridge between the two. Of, we knew we wanted to implement some of the things that we're seeing at a high level that some of the technology companies are doing. We just didn't have the bandwidth or resources to do so. And so that's where we got hooked up. And, you know, that you guys are kind of our solution to the in-between.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love it. And so as we kind of went through and worked together, and you look back at like some of the problems that we solved, you know, talk just a little bit about the experience, and then talk a little bit about like what you're seeing now, because it's been almost 6 to 8 months since we finished the project, and you probably have seen, you know, now you have good insight on what those changes have actually done for your business, you know?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's funny to look back, and I mean, we still use them a little bit, but our team used to run off of like Google Sheets and Excel, and, you know, it was, everything was, you know, I think the biggest eye opener, and it was right when we first started working together, we, you know, selling 600 plus homes a year, and we literally keep everything on an Excel spreadsheet, the price, the commissions, the net, the agent commission, the title company, you know, it's a huge spreadsheet, right? My director of operations went out on maternity, and all of a sudden she was the only person that managed that Excel spreadsheet, right? And it was pretty robust. And it was a major eye opener to me when all of a sudden you remove the person that was operating that. And now all of a sudden we were going several weeks without important real-time information. And I think that's where we realized we needed to go to a completely digital process. When one thing moves from one stage to the next, all the numbers immediately move, right? And reflect where we are in real time. And it just started, I think that just made us realize how important like real-time data is, especially in what I would consider as a longer life cycle industry. You get a consumer that comes into your funnel, they might not be transacting for 6 months, 9 months, a year. Does that mean that that opportunity was bad? Probably not. What it just means is that you need to be aware that that's going to be a 12-month opportunity. And so we were never able to figure that stuff out when we were just looking at things on pen and paper, you know, with pen and paper. I think we realized there was it was extremely important for us to make this digital transformation so that we got real-time information.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So now when you look at like where you are, like what specific things do you think you've seen that are like tangible in the way that you're doing business now compared to before?
Well, first I'll say this, it just opens your eyes up to other businesses and how they operate, whether it's good or bad. You know, we have an HVAC company that comes and services the furnace and an air conditioning, and they literally just like, they set the appointment a month before and then they show up a month later and you have no idea. And it's like, you're completely blindsided. Versus you work with another company, an electrician, that all of a sudden you get an automated text that says, here's who your techs are going to be at the house and here's what time they will get there. And after they're done, they're all done. And here's a copy of your receipt, and you get it via text message. And there's this entire automation flow. So like, it's interesting that like now whenever I book a reservation for a restaurant or whatever, I'm thinking of everything through like automation, which it just makes you appreciate it. And when someone doesn't offer it, it just makes you almost laugh a little bit of like, this is such a bad consumer experience. I would say for us, it's crazy, right?
It's so true. It puts you in a different, you think about technology and automation differently once you've gone through some sort of process like this. You really do.
Like now when you fly out, it's like your flight leaves tomorrow at this time, it's at this gate. As soon as your flight's ready to board, you get a text, your flight's ready to board. As soon as your flight's done boarding, as soon as you land, you get a text, hey, you're at this gate, here's your carousel. Like, it's just, that's what the consumer expectations have become. So when you look at how we've leveraged it from a better streamlined consumer agent experience. We've really leveraged it from a reporting standpoint. And we've also leveraged it from an operational efficiency standpoint, where things are auto-populating and creating whatever it is, paperwork, stuff like that, as soon as something gets moved from one stage to the next. What I would say the biggest buyer beware kind of thing to everything that Real Synch does and what you guys do is it's a lifelong investment and commitment, because once you start getting a taste of how you can automate and make yourself more efficient, all of a sudden you start looking at other places in your business that are not. And so it turns into one of these things that it's like you update one room in your house, but now everything else looks dated. And it's like, now you want to update everything else to the same caliber or whatever of the one room you updated. And so it becomes, it becomes a very, you have to have the bandwidth to be able to absorb, this type of project. But once you get through the other side, it saves a lot of money, it saves a lot of time, and it's a better agent and consumer experience and operational experience. And so I think it's worth, personally, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, that's awesome. So obviously what we did with you was a sizable project, compared to small projects, but when you do a project like what you did, build out and the automation, there's a commitment to it, right? And you have to commit to taking that step and make sure that you're going to follow through, because it does change your business for the better, but you got to get all the way through it. So what would you say to someone watching right now that maybe doesn't understand some of the stuff that you're talking about? What would you recommend?
Give Scott a call. I think, or your team, whatever. I think what I would recommend is start opening your eyes up to put yourself in the consumer shoes, and everything you approach in your day-to-day when you're working with other companies, like I said, other restaurants, observe what great experiences are, what you think are great experiences, a streamlined experience, stuff like that. Start becoming aware of that and start identifying how you can incorporate that into your business, right? One of the reasons why there's billions of dollars funneling into the real estate industry and into prop tech is because we haven't really adopted new technology to providing a better streamlined consumer experience. And so I would say if first become aware of the pain points of your business that aren't scalable, then you can kind of coordinate or, work with Real Synch to identify how you can improve or streamline those pain points,
Yeah. Awesome. And then if someone was interested in your iBuyer solution, what should they do, Ryan, to find out more information about it?
Yeah, go to highfellow.com, like hi, hello, highfellow.com, Fello. And, we're expanding really quick. We just announced a pretty large venture raise yesterday. This is built for the agents, and this is, for agents, for us to fight back against, iBuyers that are looking to disrupt and displace agents. And we genuinely believe that the consumer wants us to be a part of the transaction. They just want the option of the instant offer, and they want a little bit more of a streamlined digital process. And that's what we're providing to our partners.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And especially now, if your market, if it's becoming a balanced market, more of a buyer's market, rates are up a little bit, you have to be in a position to compete at that level. And you have to have all the options so that you're a solution for the consumers, because they're going to be able to be more picky, especially the buyers right now, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Ryan, thanks so much for your time, dude. I appreciate it as always. You're a great friend, great partner. And I look forward to talking to you soon. If you guys, like I said, reach out, hifellow.com, right? And if you have questions about tech, reach out to me, Scott at realsync.com, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Adios.